I am Neil Larthos. I am the next Abdullah. You are the next Neville Goddard. Your SP gets wet, moist, every single time they think of you, and your bank account makes Jeff Bezos look homeless. If you want to work with me, the links are in the description. How to manifest on a deadline. Okay, so look. A lot of you guys will tell me, why does it take so long to manifest my SP? Why do I have to wait to manifest the desires of my dreams, right? But some of you guys need good grades. Some of you guys need to pass a test. Some of you guys need to hope that your SP doesn't move away within the next week, right? So look, those types of desires, although you could still figure out a way to work around it, those desires, look, I understand, okay? I'm not going to tell you that it's wrong for you to try to manifest those things and that it's not possible. But this is where it can get interesting. When you are trying to manifest, let's use that example again. Like if your SP says that they are going to Brazil for the rest of their lives, and you're trying to manifest that they stay here in America with you, and you basically have fucking 5 days, and you book a phone call the day before, right? You're like, Neil, what do I do? What do I do? Right? It's like, I'm not even a Charles Oliveira fan. Like, what the fuck? And I'm like, okay, hold on, just calm down. Let's work this together. Look, I'm gonna tell you a little secret, okay? There are two ways that you manifest on a deadline in a situation where your SP is moving to Brazil the next day and you're trying to keep them here in America with you. One, you can decide that they are not leaving, okay? Or two, you can decide that whether they leave tomorrow, leave the next day, or they say that they're going to Brazil for good, they end up changing their mind, they come back, and you guys live fucking happily ever fucking after, okay? Because you got to understand one thing about deadlines. There's nothing set in stone. Remember, time is not what you believe it to be, okay? It's the same thing with breakups. Breakups are not final. How many times do we hear about exes getting back together? Grades are not final. I just had a client yesterday tell me that, hey, can you help me with an exam I'm doing? And then I do a phone call with her, and apparently the exam was 20 minutes after the fucking phone call. And I'm like, oh, holy shit, you know? But all I did was tell her, like, look, you always, because she was saying that she would always fail in her past examinations and that things were going downhill and that it was even based off of a breakup that happened prior. I told her, look, you got to revise that and say, look, I have been fucking acing these exams since the beginning. Fuck A's. They created a new letter for my fucking report card because of how fucking amazing I am. Okay, I'm the new Einstein. I'm the new Elon Musk. I am the new Oppenheimer. I am the future of this fucking generation. Okay, and she asked me, well, what happens if I fail? Which is a great question. What happens if after I do all those affirmations? What happens after I decide that I already passed the examination? What happens if I fail? Well, let me tell you one thing. You can say they just made a fucking mistake. They gave me the wrong grade, which actually has happened before. My mom used to be a fucking teacher for 22 years, and she's witnessed that before. That has happened in the educational system. Or you can simply just say you passed it and act like, I mean, basically lie to yourself, right? Because here's the thing. If you react to the bad grade, right? And her story is the perfect example, okay? She was trying to manifest on the deadline, but let's say, theoretically speaking, she fails the test, right? She can still look at that test and go, I fucking aced it. My parents are so proud of me. They're taking me out to dinner to celebrate. right? Even though she's not seeing that in the 3D, if she stays in that state, you want to know what's going to happen? Whether she gets a fucking negative 50 on that examination, she is going to still get the same results eventually that the person who would have aced that test would have gotten anyway. Because here's the thing that you guys don't understand. You are not trying to manifest an A on your test. You're not trying to manifest an individual not getting on a train to Brazil. If you were a Charles Oliveira fan and you loved Brazil, yellow, verde, if you were loving the idea of going to Brazil, it's not the actual fact that they're going to Brazil, it's the fact that you feel rejected, that you're trying to not manifest. The grades, it's not so much the fucking A that you want, okay? It's the feeling of success. You're trying to avoid manifesting disappointed parents, because she was telling me a lot of how she comes from a strict culture, and even though she's a lot older now, she still wants to make her parents proud, and it's beautiful, right? Look at what was going on before, and I asked her to go back to her previous state of mind that led up to the breakup, that led up to those other examinations, and there was a breakup, there was panic attacks, there was anxiety, right? And I even told her that if the anxiety is so bad, you could either A, just tell yourself that you feel fucking amazing and you feel confident and powerful, or you can say that, no, this is not anxiety, this is adrenaline, because I always get pumped because this is my fucking game. Just kind of like the way a boxer, NFL football superstar gets pumped when they're about to go to the big game, right? They got adrenaline, they got their heart pumping, but it's not because they're nervous, it's because they know that they're about to kick ass, right? You can even, I mean, you get to decide what the fuck that heart rate means. You're God, your source, you're everything. But again, you're not trying to manifest your SP not moving to Brazil. Okay, you are trying to manifest a good relationship with them. You're trying to manifest not getting rejected. You can give yourself that right now by simply deciding you never get rejected, by simply deciding that they are coming back, by simply deciding that whether it's tomorrow, whether it's next week, whether it's next year, they will choose you. And again, I know you guys don't like to hear that, but the fact that you're impatient means you don't believe that you can give yourself anything you want right now, because you have to understand that manifestation is not about fucking manipulating the 3D to whatever the fuck you want. Everything you see in the 3D right now, if they're leaving to Brazil, it's because you manifested them to leave to Brazil. You manifested getting yourself in a relationship with somebody who is not choosing you, who's not prioritizing you. That had to happen because it is simply reflecting you. That was your past state. But if you go to a different state, and no, I'm not talking about Alabama, okay? If you go to a different state, you will reflect that new state. But this new state cannot have you going, why do I have to wait 6 months? Why do I have to wait a year? Because if you have to wait 6 months or a year, then you are in the state of the person who doesn't get what they want. Okay, you can't see it like that. Okay, you have to be able to give, if you really are horny, if you really are lonely, if you really miss them and crave them, you have to give them to yourself in your 40, because that's exactly how you gave yourself them moving to Brazil. You might not have actually imagined them holding the green and yellow flag, but there was probably something either prior to you getting into that relationship where you just kept imagining yourself as the one who gets rejected or who gets deprioritized, or you could have simply been in that relationship with them and felt like, what if they leave? And that is all it takes for you to have successfully, imaginally acted and manifested them to move to Brazil. Okay, so to end this video, I will say this: you need to get the fuck out of your mind. If you really love them, look, you got to ask yourself, do you really love them? You got to ask yourself that. Do you really want this? Well, you have to be willing to understand that the 3D has some catching up to do, and it will have more catching up to do the more you keep saying, where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Because if you keep saying, where are they? You're going to manifest more of where are they. You know where they are? They're right here. Don't worry about the 3D right now. It will catch up, but only if you let it, because if you don't give yourself your SP, sucking on their tits, licking their ass, cuddling and watching Netflix, then you will never see that in the 3D. Whether it's thinking, imaginal acts, affirmations, or simply noticing, that is all an imaginal act. So stop thinking wrong and stop thinking right. Or start thinking right, I should say. I am Neil Larthos. This is all that the I Am Awareness had to say. And I know you're going to be okay.